Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So today we begin with the week in which we are gonna go through the path of the Zodiac. So today with the crown chakra, we will begin with Aquarius constellation. So first of all, let's try to see what are the zodiac signs so we can understand why they are so important for us. And also, like this, we will be able to understand better our whole week. So now we will try to remember what we have learned about the constellations and how we see them. So first of all, remember that here we have something called the Cancer tropic and Capricorn tropic. Okay, so remember that above this region we have the boreal constellations, that means the ones from the north, and here from this line down we have the austral constellations, which means the ones in the south. So in the middle we have the tropical constellations. This doesn't mean that you can see them only here. This means that these constellations are seen half of the year above and half of the year below, according to the seasons. That's why they are called the stationary constellations, because they are seen in according to the according to the solstice and equinoxes as the Earth is moving. So now let's go into another thing. Cuesta más borrar esto. This is more difficult to erase. So now we are going to have this circle with the sun in the middle and the Earth with the moon around. So here we have the sun, here the Earth, and we have all the constellations around. So now to understand this is that when the Earth is moving around in the circle around the sun, so our point of view, here we have an eye watching. So we see the sun that is like in the house of Aquarius. So we perceive the sun moving through the houses of Aquarius, but it's us that is moving. So we perceive the sun moving there. And the time it takes for us to go through this vision of the sun, it's around 30 days. So it takes 30 days from our point of view that the sun goes through Aquarius. Okay. So it's because of that we perceive every 30 days that the sun is moving into a different constellation, but it's not moving to a different constellation. We are moving, perceiving the sun moving around. So the whole circle will be 365 days, which is a year. So basically the Earth will take 365 days, approximately 34 constellations, watching in these 30 days how the sun seems to move through these constellations behind. So the Earth, as you see here, is watching the sun through the equator. So the tropics, in between the tropics through the equator, is the region that sees the sun straight in a line. So as it goes around the circle, these regions are the ones looking into the sun. And that's why these constellations are called the tropical constellations, because we see them from our point of view, straight to the sun. Okay. So the reason why Aquarius is the one affecting us and not Leo when we are watching to the sun like this is because we perceive that the light of the sun is giving us the energy. So we receive the energy through the sun, from Aquarius through the sun, and we can see it, we can perceive it. So Leo in this moment is in the other side, in the dark side. So we cannot see its perception, okay? So that's how it is. That's the point of view. So depending on the solstice and the equinoxes, we will see these constellations still like this in the center, or moving or the perception will be that some of them are above and some of them are below. So it's dependent on winter, summer, spring, autumn, that we will see these constellations moving around the planet in different ways, from north, south, or whatever. So as the Earth is moving around, this means that it will take a path through these 12 constellations. And that's why by looking into the sun, it knows that the energy of that moment is related to that constellation, which is behind the sun. So now if we see this Aquarius here, because we are in the month of Aquarius, we will see that Aquarius is the opposite of Leo. And we can see here Virgo is the opposite of Pisces, Aries the opposite of Libra, and so on. Taurus from Scorpio, Gemini to Sagittarius, Cancer of Capricorn. So they are opposites. So what it means, these oppositions, that when I am looking into Aquarius like this month, Leo will be the one showing me the shadows. Okay, and when I am there with the Earth looking into Leo, so Aquarius will be the one showing the darkness of Leo. Okay, that's the opposite. So why the opposite? Basically because one side is light, is the day, and the other side is the night. Of course, easy. So we are not the only planet here around the sun. Also, we have Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So now, of course, that when we have these planets here, these planets are also in different constellations, as you see here. So from the point of view of our Earth, as it moves, from our point of view, these planets are in different constellations. So this means that these planets are bringing us the energy of that constellation. This is what shapes the astrological chart. So now imagine that here we have a conjunction of planets in the same house in Taurus, but then we have the opposition of planets from Scorpio to Taurus. These planets, Venus and Jupiter, will be like against each other, one showing the shadow of the other one, etc. So now remember that the reason why this affects us is because we usually see everything separated, but in reality, it's only one thing connected as one and projected in many. So everything basically here is only one thing. all the planets, everything is just atoms, it's just molecules. So when all these gravitational aspects, all these beings are moving around, they move this gravity with them through thousands and millions of years. So that is why all of them affect us somehow, like the parts of a clock, that when one wheel starts to move, all the rest move with it. Okay, so that's the image that we have to understand from this. Is only one thing. So they are not different things. It's only one thing moving. So the same, the way the planets and the movement affect us is the same way in which a person that we love or we are related with talks to us or affects us. It doesn't matter where we are. So maybe I am here, and in the other side of the world, I have someone that tells me something that affects me. Like, it doesn't matter if it is in the opposite side of the world. When I hear its voice saying something that bothers me or that makes me happy, it doesn't matter. I am affected like this, even if the person is far away. So the same way, Jupiter can affect me from my perception of its movement through the subconscious and the unconscious. So just to understand how they affect me, the first thing we have to understand is that we are one. So it doesn't matter what happened in the universe, we can feel it anyway, because everything is connected, everything is just one. So now let's understand why a planet or a constellation can affect us in the projection and the separation that we live. And the way we can understand this is in the same way as, for example, when someone does something that we don't like or that we like, what I feel is only my perception. It's not the other person that did something that affects me. What the other person is doing is something that the other person is doing. But how I am affected is only mine. It's only my energy, my perception, basically that. Okay? So this means that it's not the other one that is doing something to me. The other one is just doing something, and it's me who perceive it in one way. It's my own emotion. So the same thing happened with the constellations and the planets. It's not that the planets are affecting us in a specific way. It's that us, in the subconscious and the unconscious, are affected by the position of these planets. The position of this planet. And it's my position, my perception of that movement that make me feel something. It's my point of view. It's not the other one that is doing it to me. It's myself perceiving that movement from my own point of view. So now, to understand this, the astronomy is speaking about the position of planets and constellations. And the astrology is the perception of the planets and the constellations. So it's not the reality outside, it's the perception of that reality. So once said this, let's try to understand the difference between sidereal astrology and tropical astrology. So the sidereal astrology is describing how the skies are in this right moment, the position of the planets in this very moment. So that's the astronomy. And the tropical astrology is exactly astrology, because it's describing how I feel myself according to what I perceive from the skies right now. Okay, just to understand this, the sidereal astronomy describes the position of the things, describe the position of the skies, how they are in this moment, in this very moment, which makes that the tropical changes a lot. Because, for example, now we say that we are in Aquarius, but right now, in the sidereal astrology, it's not in Aquarius. We are still in Capricorn, or I don't know. Yes, I guess in Capricorn. So we are still in Capricorn in the sidereal astrology. It's not Aquarius. And why is that? Because the tropical astrology was designed 5,000 years ago when the northern star was Alpha Draconis. So the sky was totally different. So that's why they designed the astrology according to that northern star. So the tropical astrology was before the astronomy. But 5,000 years after that, when the northern star is Polaris, the constellations have changed. The position has changed. So that's why the tropical astrology is not fitting the sidereal astrology, because the sidereal and the tropical were the same 5,000 years ago. You get it? It's like, so what? We are following something wrong, because now we can say the planets are not in the constellations where they are supposed to be, according to the astrology, to the tropical astrology. So now let's go to understand what the tropical. The tropical is not describing something from the outside. The tropical is not saying that constellation there is the one that is affecting me. The tropical is saying, when this star or this constellation is there, I feel this. So the tropical is describing the perception that I have from this planet when I see that star there. It's not that star, it's myself perceiving something while that star. So it's not about to choose one or the other to rule my life. It's about to understand that one is telling me what is outside, and the other one is telling me how I perceive within what is outside. So both of them are useful to understand what I feel and what is there. Okay? So what happened with the constellations? The name of the constellations are not related to what happened in the skies, are related to what happened here in this planet. So what was happening in this planet was the thing that was determined how we call the constellations. So Aquarius, Pisces, Aries are just names of things that they were using and relating in that time, but they are not specifically related to something in the skies. It's just stories to understand what happened in the earth. That's, for example, the concept of the year begins in Aries. Why? Because Aries is the one that is the stars that you see in the sky when the tragedy was taking part. What's the tragedy? Tragedy in Greek means the singing of the ram. The singing of the ram. Why? Because they used to kill a ram to use the blood to make the ceremony for the sowing. And the sowing later comes with the bulls opening the earth, so Taurus. And after the bulls comes the sharing of the seeds in Gemini, and then the water to water the fields in Cancer, and so on. What is happening what is happening in the earth is the thing that named the skies. It's not the other way around. So the tropical astrology is not a path through the stars. It's a path of the earth that we understand when we see the stars, the position of the stars. So I hope this helps you to understand many things of the sky. So something that usually people misunderstand when they say I don't believe in astrology is that they believe that when we speak about astrology, we are related with the stars, that it's the stars that are affecting us. But no, outside is astronomy, the astronomy. What is within the perception of the stars is astrology. Sorry, because I am putting too much information in 2 languages. So okay, sorry. So each one of these ones is a trinity. So we have the trinity of air in Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, and the trinity of water, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. We have the trinity of earth in Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, y la trinidad de fuego, Sagitario, Leo, y Aries, and the trinity of fire, So each one of these trinities will have its body, its soul, and the spirit. The body of the fire is Aries, the soul is Leo, the spirit is Sagittarius. So these 4 here are the body of the Trinity. These other 4 are the soul of this Trinity. And then we have the spirit. Okay, so this is the Trinity of the whole path. So this is the body, this is the soul, this is the spirit. Body, soul, and spirit. Body, body, soul, and spirit. Body, soul, and spirit. So during the whole week, we are going to go walking this path. So we are going to try to understand the trinities and the aspects of each one of them, of these constellations. So these constellations, not from the point of view of what is in the sky, but from the point of view of what I perceive from the sky. Okay? And of course that because our body is not like this in a circle, we are like this, staring. The chakras and the constellations are in a different order. So that's why we are going to start by Aquarius related to the crown chakra. All this explanation to tell you how is Aquarius. So it was a lot, but I rather, well, that's it. My hair is a little bit chaotic today. So what is Aquarius? Aquarius is basically the spiritual aspect of the Trinity of air, which means that is the one that is connected to the mentalism, is the one connected to the mind, to the expansion of all the things. The huge mind of the universe is expanded in Aquarius. The whole thing, you cannot put structure on it, you cannot hold it in any way, is constantly expanded in its freedom. So the key of this sign is to expand into the freedom. So it opens to all the opportunities from the crown chakra. It's like the lotus flower opening to the whole universe. So Aquarius is the mind, the thoughts, is a network of thoughts. It's the expansion of all the possibilities in the mind. Is the network of networks. So this is why when we speak that we are starting the age of Aquarius, it is related to the idea of the networks, of the idea of we are creating something new that is a network connected with many things. It expanded in a network of thoughts. But this network cannot be only one in one way. It is infinite, like the mind itself of the universe. We need to create constantly a different kind of network to transcend the old one, so we can expand and expand and expand more beyond our imagination. This is why in this new time, we cannot think on creating a network in which we are all doing exactly the same. We have to innovate. We have to do many things constantly, transform all the time. So if we are not opening ourselves to new networks, to new ways of doing things, we are not doing properly the task of Aquarius. And now what is the problem of Aquarius? That as the mind, it goes beyond, it can see the future, it can goes all the time farther and farther, transforming everything. And the conflict is that it cannot live what is thinking. It cannot manifest. It's impossible for them to manifest something and live in harmony something. It's leaving everything constantly behind. So one of the things that we have with the energy of Aquarius is that usually abandon things because they don't hold the emotion of the things, because they need to go transforming the future. So they are projected in the future, so they don't have any problem to leave away the old things very fast. Like, oh, I don't need this anymore. Now I want to do this new thing. So for most of us, for the rest of the signs, it's like you never know when they are going to abandon you or not be interested in you anymore. It's like just, oh yes, I'm not interested anymore. Bye, and leave away. Because they are the atmosphere, air, cold and open, expansion. So they cannot be attached to anything, they just expand. So basically, Aquarius is the great master of free will, of the one that is free of everything, of detachment. So, for example, the Leos, like myself, we are the opposite to Aquarius. So for Leo, that is looking for the control, to have everything under control, to have everything under the kingdom, the power of the king. And the other one, Aquarius, would be like, no, I'm free, I don't care, blah, 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 and disappear. So it's the hard work for the opposite, which is Leo. And now we are starting an era that is Aquarius. So we have to practice how to set ourselves free, because otherwise it will make us be free very hard. And this is because we are animals that live through, how do you say this? I forgot, costumbres, that we do all the time the same. Like, we get used to the things, so we are attached to emotions, we are attached to thoughts. So we speak that we want to set ourselves free, that we want to be free, we speak about freedom. Oh, thank you. But we are animals of habits. Thank you. So because we are attached to many things, for us really to experience what freedom really means is hard. It's really hard. So we have to practice that. So if you want to start practicing that, I gave you just kind of a tool, a practice that you can do. I wrote it in the blog and the post for today. So you can do it. You can check it there, and you can do it if you want. So of course we are gonna keep talking about Aquarius in the next days, because we have the Trinity coming through, and of course we are in the week of Aquarius, so we will speak about it. Thank you everybody for being there, as always.